If there's ever a job that requires atmosphere, it's this one. Hello, how you doing, everyone? You good? Yes, okay, all right. Just give me a cheer, just so I know how many of you are just Norwegian. Fair few of you. Okay, haven't written any jokes for you. America? Okay. Africa? Okay. Australia? One. Well done. Okay. Excellent. All right. Just checking at the top, because this for me is a very interesting thing to come out and do, and it's been exceptional. And I was so excited to be asked, and I've met lots of people over the last couple of days, and it's been inspiring to be amongst, activists and freedom fighters and NGOs. But I think we all know who the true hero is today. It's me. It's me attempting to do stand-up comedy for those people. Yeah, you put your life on the line, I'll just make you laugh a little bit. So I was at the bar last night. I met a few people. Actually, it was very sweet. A guy come over to me and said, you look $1 million. And I was like, oh, thank you, that's so nice. And then he said he was from Zimbabwe. Less flattering. Hyperinflation is not sexy, that's all I'm saying. They say female comedians talk about dating, but that's actually a maths joke, so... It's not even my favourite chat-up line, by the way. That happened to me when I was in Ireland. I was in Ireland, stood in a pub in Galway. A man come up to me with his friend, punched me in the arm. That was his opener. And then he pointed to his friend and said, seriously, would you not go out with him? He has an iPhone 5. As if I was considering it, but only if he had decent technology. So, and I must admit as well at this point, just of my set, that I am a little bit hungover as well. Who was out drinking last night? Yeah, some of you, not enough of you. I think I made up for you. I drank like 3 bottles of white wine, so, but the baby's loving it. Relax, I'm not keeping it. And that's how I used to open shows in Ireland. Yes. Not anymore. Ireland have finally repealed the 8th. It's so exciting. Yeah, it's great news. I will no longer be able to say Irish women come into the UK, taking our abortions. So I'm pleased. I'm pleased, but I can aim it at some other countries. I've got a list that don't have unrestricted abortion for women. Egypt, Senegal, Philippines, Tonga, Malta, Brazil, Nigeria, Mexico, just a few. I just believe that no civilized country should restrict a woman's right to bodily autonomy. That's just my opinion, Anyone that interferes with it, I like to call a womb botherer. That's how I describe them. Womb botherers. We have a couple in the UK. We have a politician in the Conservative Party at the moment called Jacob Rees-Mogg. Yes, the man who would be Prime Minister. Jacob Rees-Mogg is a pro-lifer. I like to call it anti-choicer. He's pro-life. He recently met up with... He's also pro-eugenics as well, I should point that out. Recently met up with America's top pro-life, pro-eugenics guy, Steve Bannon. The Americans already booing him. They met up presumably to talk about their shared interests, which does pose a very important question. Why is it only ever really ugly men that believe in the idea of a supreme race? Steve Bannon looks like an actual drop sandwich. The nerve of that guy is incredible. Sometimes the womb bothering goes beyond individuals and governments and tips into corporations as well. This happened in the UK just at the end of last year. Boots, one of our major pharmacy chains, got in trouble because they refused to lower the price of the morning after pill in case it encouraged women. That was in their official statement. As if that's how it works, ladies. As if you hear that and go, ooh, do you know what I haven't had for ages? A really good pregnancy scare. Seeing as it's so cheap at the moment, I might as well. Plus I get loyalty points on it, so why not? Crazy. Crazy, womb botherers. I think this has happened. We're at sort of an apex of misogyny. I wanted to talk about this very briefly, just as being a woman here. But it sort of happened. There was a pinnacle, wasn't there? You know, because Americans in, hello, I'm sorry. But there was that point, you know, where America voted in last year a man that thinks Roe versus Wade was a tennis match. Now, that is an excellent joke, but it does require knowledge of 70s tennis and US abortion legislation. Crossover in that Venn diagram is never as high as I would hope. Donald Trump believes women should be punished for having an abortion. I think his mum should have been punished for not having one. How about we start there? I find it incredible he had the confidence to run for a presidency. Some of you may be thinking, what are you talking about, Tiffany? He's the most vain, egotistical, arrogant man in the world. I just say I'm surprised that's the case because he had a Scottish mother. And I say this as a child of Scottish parents. There's one thing I know Scottish people don't like, and it is cockiness. They don't like people being overconfident. It's why comedians have to go to the Edinburgh Fringe every year, just in case we get too big for our boots. Yeah. We have to go so we can have hostile Scottish audiences stare at us going, I don't think so. Next clown, please. Makes me think Donald can't have spent any time with his mother. He's way too arrogant. He can't have spent any time with her, because if he had, she'd have been like, Donald, do you think it's a good idea to go out with your hair like that? Donald, do you think that's a normal skin colour for a human being to have? Donald, why'd you tell everyone 500 people came to your birthday party when it was actually 4? Go to your room, son. You're an embarrassment. It's a bizarre time we're in when world politics are being played out on Twitter, isn't it? What a crazy time to just see people threatening each other. Putin, Donald Trump, Kim Jong. Donald Trump threatened Kim Jong. First it was Fire and Fury, then it was Locked and Loaded. I was like, is he just naming Jason Statham films? Is that what's happening now? Very keen to press the red button. Always described as a button as well. I hope it's more than a button, that's all I'm saying. Surely it has to be more than a button. You can accidentally knock that with your coffee. We've all gone into work hungover. I'm hungover right now. You could just put your coffee cup down and poof, that's it, end of the world. If we don't want men to press the red button, then we have to hide it in a place they'll never look. Ladies know what I'm talking about. That's right, a box set of Sex and the City. So, silly, it's silliness. I've been spending a lot of time at the beginning of this year in Los Angeles, where I recently turned 40 and I thought, where should I go to get more visibility as an actress and a performer? Hollywood. It's a really interesting thing that happens to women. Actually, once you get past 50, you do become invisible. And in some ways, it's like a superpower, you know, because invisibility can be good, can't it? You can perv on people in the shower. You can rob a bank. You can run a country. This auditorium is actually full. There just are women over 50 in those seats. You can't quite see them. I met lots of people who were obsessed with the royal wedding. Lots of women in their 20s. Oh my God, Tiffany, are you excited? You know, there's like a certain type of American woman who sounds like her voice is running out of batteries. Oh my God, are you excited about the royal wedding? Not as excited as you. You should be, because Meghan Markle is living the dream. She's living the dream, Tiffany, because she's gone from game show hostess to actual princess. She is living the dream. I'm like, what kind of fevered cheese dream is this? Here's the reality of what's happened to Meghan Markle. She's gone from successful actress with autonomy to public servant with racist in-laws. Meghan Markle's living in a real-life version of the film Get Out. Every time Prince Philip opens his mouth, she goes to the sunken place. It is Prince Philip we're talking about when we discuss racism within the royal family, by the way. Prince Philip, who met a dance troupe called Diversity at one of the royal variety performances and said, "Where are you from?" And they said, "London." And he said, "No, where are you from?" And they said, "London." Prince Philip. Meghan Markle's dad had a heart attack. That was very sad. I think it might have been that he thought he had to pay for the wedding. I only wish I'd have had 5 minutes to tell him, don't worry, that's on the UK taxpayer. We got this one, friend, we got this one. It was interesting, actually, seeing some of the rarely seen royals turn out for the wedding itself. You know, the super posh ones. The ones who get confused when they get an invite to the wedding and it says +1. And they're like, one is already attending. How could one possibly bring oneself twice? Here's a little known fact for you. The Queen actually has mugs and teacups with pictures of normal people on them. Just 2 people on their holiday in the Canary Islands. Beautiful. It's a joy, actually, being able to write material and then noticing change in real time around you. I used to go to Australia and talk about equal marriage there before it happened, before they had the referendum. And I would frequently talk on stage about how pro-equality I was. And after one of my shows, a woman come up to me and she said, the thing is, marriage is between a man and a woman. That's just the way it's always been. I said, well, if it's always been a way, we definitely shouldn't bother trying to change it. What I could have said was, you know, up until 1911, it was only men who voted in Australia. It's just the way it's always been, right? Which is an interesting fact for me and for the one Australian in the room. Welcome. Like, Australia actually had women's suffrage like 7 years before the UK. And I thought to myself, 7 years, like, how could they be so far ahead then and so far behind on everything else now? Time difference. Turns out it's time difference. Also, it's the way it's always been is the stupidest anti-progress argument that exists in my mind. You know, well, before we were humans, we were just apes swinging around, flinging poo at the wall. It's just the way it's always been. You know, before that, we were fish swimming around in the ocean. Don't get out and try and walk, mate. You're a fish. Do not evolve. It's the way it's always been. I think what I'm saying is, when it comes to progress, some people still want to be fish. And that is why the internet is full of photos like this. I've been Tiff Stevenson. Enjoy the rest of your panel. Thanks for having me.